Am I the asshole for forcing my roommate to let me buy out our kitchen table? I just had a huge blowout fight with one of my roommates who I will call Bob. Bob is moving out and they are taking the table. This table is seriously my most cherished possession. I found this table after searching through estate sale sites. Bob and I went together to get it. Bob, my other roommate John, and I split it 1/3 each for $40 each. Bob later texts us saying his dad is buying the table for us. He sent back our money without asking if we were all right with that arrangement. This is a year ago. About a month after we buy the table, Bob and I get in a huge fight. He said repeatedly when touring apartments that they would pay for Wi-Fi, but now that we've signed the lease, he says he won't. I cave and pay to keep the peace. This will come in later. Cut to a month ago. Bob tells us they're moving out 3 months earlier than our lease ends. Good riddance. As I said earlier, I love this table. I ask Bob, "What will you be taking with you?" Bob walks around the apartment and talks us through every item he will be taking. The table is not one of them. A week goes by and we check back in on the progress of his move out. I ask explicitly, "Are you taking the table?" He says no to both John and I. Wonderful. A week after that, John tells me Bob is taking the table. I text Bob asking to buy them out. He says he will get back to me. I follow up the next day and they tell me they are taking the table because getting a new one is too expensive. For context, Bob comes from wealth and I do not. Money is not an issue for Bob. I had a suspicion they were going to pull something like this, so I planned ahead. Put simply, unless both John and I agree to take over the lease, Bob is stuck with $3,000 in rent over the remaining 3 months of the lease and on the hook for his new apartment that they already signed on. Again, money is not an issue for Bob. He refused my offer to buy him out and my offer to buy him a new table. I tell him his options. Either let me buy the table, like we agreed to, or I'm refusing to let him off our lease. This turned into a heated back and forth. I pointed out how he did the same thing with the Wi-Fi when we first moved in. He called me immature. Eventually, he caved, letting me buy the table for $275, still far below the actual value of the table. John is pissed at me for this. He backed up that Bob did say he would leave the table, but said that wasn't binding, and ultimately it's Bob's table. In short, I got the table, but at what cost?